When Cherilyn and I realized that there was a real-world casting call in Philadelphia, we figured it would be a great place to meet some interesting reality star hopefuls.
First, we will introduce you to each of the participants we met, why they chose to come out to the casting call, and what fame means to them. Then we will tell you about our own experience in trying out for the real world.
When we arrived to McFadden's, it was mobbed with at least 100 interesting-looking people. We couldn't decide who to talk to first and how we would approach them. Eventually, we noticed Willie and Jonathan, who stood out with the most eccentric hair, makeup, and clothing.
Willie commuted to school and thought this would be a good experience to live with roommates. He foresees that fame would change his life and that he would use it to promote his entrepreneurial dream of creating a slipper line. Willie attempts to gain local fame by promoting celebrity appearances at his local sports bar. When asked about famous people, Willie said his idol is Snooki and felt honored to have met her. Willie continued to name drop, which brought his friend Jonathan into the conversation.
Jonathan designed outfits and competed in RuPaul's Drag Race. He told us that he has an alter ego and wants to portray this character on the show. He has acquired local fame because of his look. He said, "I always get local paparazzi on my shit." In reference to his cheetah hairstyle, he said, "A lot have copied my hair, but only I can pull it off." To finish it off, he told us his mantra, which he got tattooed on his body: "Haters make me famous."
22-year-old Jenna is a sniper instructor for the Israeli army. Since going to the army as voluntary in the U.S., people around us were shocked that it was a requirement for such a pretty girl to enlist. When asked why she was here, she said that her mom had entered her as a joke. She currently works for her family's business and said that she would promote it on the show. When we asked her if she would act differently for the camera, she said that she would be just herself, even if she gets in fights for people mistaking her kindness for stupidity.
Our next interviewee said, "Call me Nosh," but filled us in on her alter ego, Milan Cochet. She created this image on the air when she interned at a radio station where people began to recognize her name. She said, "A lot of people know me, but don't know who I really am." In order for people to get to know the real Nosh, she ultimately wants to host her own talk show influenced by her idol, Chelsea Handler. She thinks that people who are always going to hate, but will use the real world to show her true colors.
Next, it was our turn to show the casting directors what we've got. We sat down and filled out paperwork that had really personal questions. Some included what we look for in a mate, our most embarrassing moment, and our deepest, darkest secret. We were then escorted into a room with 10 others where we squished into a booth for our group interview. There were many unique faces and personality traits among us. We were introduced to a comedian, a stutterer, and a pansexual. Everyone had the chance to sell themselves in 30 seconds.
When we left the room, we were supercharged with adrenaline. Just knowing there was a possibility that we would get a call back in the next 48 hours telling us we moved on to the next round was such a thrill. Unfortunately, neither of us were selected to move on. After speaking to those we interviewed and others, we saw that we really are a society of self-promoters. Some wanted to promote their brand, while others simply wanted to achieve the Kim Kardashian type of fame. No matter the case, everyone wanted their 15 minutes. We hope one of the more enthusiastic hopefuls among us were able to realize their dream.